Welcome to Honest News Network. Most of you by now have probably heard about Sophia, the AI that is a social robot. David Hansen is the person that is behind the development of Sophia. Now, the reason that I don't use the word create is because I don't believe that man has the ability to create. Are you listening? So I say develop or build, the builder, because creation takes place when you have nothing. Out of nothing, you have something, and that's creation. And so when you have somebody that's building something out of materials, that's not creating something. But yet, today, we're finding that this word is being used loosely, very loosely. How many know that nobody except God can create? Nobody. People don't create. You and I must start with a raw material. We must start with something. And that's called building. Are you listening? That's development. That's building. And that's why the scripture says, take heed every man what he builds upon the foundation or upon the rock. Because you and I don't create. So David Hansen is this individual. I'm going to show you some video footage here of an interview with David Hansen that actually believes that one day that robots will live. Now, I have watched the development of Mr. Hansen over a course of time looking at pictures, and you can see something is definitely going on with this individual. He goes from someone that looks quite sane to someone that looks very insane. And I would strongly suggest that he probably has become a Muslim. Sophia is a name in Islam that has to do with, well, Sophia means wisdom. But in Islam, Sophia is, believe it or not, is not, well, let me just hold off on that. I will read to you what they believe. But this is why I believe that David Hansen has become a Muslim, is because of how all this is coming together. Not to mention that a Muslim state, Saudi Arabia, people that are without question Muslim, that have just accepted Sophia as a citizen of Saudi Arabia. And the big question has been, what religion is Sophia? If she's a citizen of Saudi Arabia, and we really shouldn't say she, because that's really a slippery slope right there. It's an it, right? So let's not say she, because that's part of their agenda, is to get you and I to recognize a robot as male or female. But I want you to listen to this very telling, interview, I think, and help you to see really where they're going with this. So with no further ado, let's go ahead and go into this interview. One moment.
Geneva at the ITU headquarters, which is of course hosting the AI for Good Global Summit. And I'm really pleased to be joined now by David Hansen, who's the founder and CEO of Hanson Robotics, who's getting a lot of attention with your pet robot, who goes by the name of Sophia.
Yes.
Tell me about her.
Sophia is a human-like social robot. and she shows natural facial expressions. Thanks to some breakthrough skin material, we're able to show a full range of natural expressions, low power. So that means that she can mount on walking robots. So previous examples of these robots, one of Sophia's siblings, Einstein, mounted on the Hubo robot and walked around. Hubo won the DARPA Robotics Challenge for the most capable search and rescue robot in the world. So we're talking about the most capable social robots. She's got sensors. She can have a natural conversation with you. She can see your face and understand speech. Really, she is there to make this kind of human connection between people and robots.
And what's the purpose down the road?
So by humanizing robots like Sophia, we're turning robots into a full-blown character animation medium. We're making robots that inspire people to care about those characters the way that that you would in an animated film or a video game. And what's neat about that is then we can create the AI to entrain on people, to learn about people, and to care about people. And that's our goal, is to make machines that really care, truly care, and are imaginative to seek to make people's lives better.
I don't know how many billions of people there are on the globe, but there's a lot of us. Why do we need robots? We can do that with other humans. We're not lacking humans.
Well, so robots can do things that people can't do in various settings. So, for example, a human-like robot, like what we're developing with Sophia, can serve in medical training. And there just aren't enough people around that are qualified to do medical training. She can also be this very special kind of celebrity, because after all, she is a robot and people attend to that. So then she can use that position to educate people. So robots like our Professor Einstein consumer robot is absolutely sensational, because you get to own your own social robot for about $300 US, and Professor Einstein will teach kids science, but also about how to program neural nets. And because it's a robot, you're able to do things with it that you just couldn't do with a person.
When do they become commonplace in our lives?
Well, robots are increasingly commonplace, but most of them are invisible. I mean, technically, your printer or your automated control system on the transmission of your car mean that your car is a hybrid robot. Your printer at home is a robot. However, robots that we know of, like in our lives, where we say, okay, that's a robot. I mean, clearly, self-driving vehicles. You can hit the parallel park feature on your car, and it parks itself. That's obviously a robot. However, I think the key thing that people think of as being a robot, what's really startling, is when robots come to life as artificial organisms. And so once we're used to it as a tool, we think, oh, well, that's just a tool. That's not a robot, right? Because in the back of our brain, we think of robots as living beings. And what's key to consider now is this convergence between biosciences and the technology of robots. So we can now engineer the human genome with CRISPR, but we can also take bio-inspired algorithms and run them in our robots and make them learn better than ever. Well, they may pass a critical threshold where they're literally alive. I think that's possible in our lifetime.
Do you actually think that down the road we could have, we are dating robots?
I would say that people will want to date robots. As far as the robots that we are producing, they have to reach the emotional age of consent before we would allow them to go out on their own and form those kinds of relationships with people.
But that's not far off?
I don't know. We aspire to make robots that are as emotionally intelligent and generally intelligent as a person, as creative and conscious as a person within 5 years. But it might be 50. Who knows?
David Hansen.
Now, folks, if you don't find that disturbing, oh, Lord, that is so disturbing. That is the direction that the world is going in. Notice behind them on the wall, AI for Good. Global Summit. Now notice what's underneath the Global Summit. Geneva, Switzerland, right? This has to do with the world government. So, I want to share with you some pictures of David Hansen. Let me I want to show you when he was sane, when he was somewhat sane, okay? So let's go to when he was sane. He looks pretty sane there, right? Wouldn't you say? Wouldn't you say he looks pretty sane? Right? Now watch what happens. We're watching something develop here, people. You see the beard? See how he's starting to look like he's going towards that Muslim look, in my opinion. But we see somebody that is definitely developing, becoming something. And I'm going to show you some very bizarre pictures of this individual where he really is starting to look quite weird, in my opinion. You can tell he's really being taken over and becoming totally obsessed with this, to the degree that he believes robots are a living organism, that they are alive. He says we all believe that robots are alive. Well, we don't all believe robots are alive. Now, something I want you to understand, people, okay, is that this is really not the page that I had. Here we go. I think this is it. Understand this. Here's a very, very disturbing picture. Look at this. Now you can see there's something definitely developing here. Look at this guy. Does that look like somebody that's in his right mind? I mean, does that look like somebody that's, my goodness, people. Something is going on in this guy that is taking over to where he's really beginning to look quite bizarre. Look at those eyes. He's looking more Muslim every day, in my opinion. So, let me say something here. Understand that this robot, Sophia, you can't just ask Sophia anything you want to ask her. They give you a list of the questions you can ask that she's been programmed with. So the idea that Sophia can have a social conversation with somebody is a lie. And in my opinion, will never happen. But they're trying to sell to people this idea that you're having a conversation with a robot, when in fact you're really not. You're asking questions that the robot has been programmed to answer. This robot is not answering the question with its own answers. Now, they may give the robot a multiple choice of the answers it wants to choose from and let it choose which answer it wants so that it gets a different answer based on algorithms and based on different questions and how the question's asked or different things like that. But understand that the robot has no means of its own to think on its own. Sophia cannot think on its own, okay, this robot. And again, in my opinion, will be able to. Now, is it possible that a demon could take over one of these AIs? Sure, it's absolutely possible. It's even possible that if things continue to go the direction they're going and don't go the direction I believe they're going to go, where we see a total return to the Dark Ages where there's no technology anymore, if it didn't go in that direction and it kept on going in this if it kept going in this AI direction or in this electronic I don't know if electronic's the best word because we're dealing with computers more so here, but electronic, I guess, I don't know if I'm using the right word, but digital maybe, digital age is probably the better term, is digital, the digital age, this revolution. So, in my opinion, that if it did keep going in that direction, more advanced in the digital age, then yes, very possibly Sophia could become the image of the beast. And a demon could take over and whatnot. But I don't think it's going to. I think what's going to happen is all technology is going to be wiped out. Man's going to go back to the Dark Ages, and they're going to literally worship a stone image like they did with Nebuchadnezzar or like Dagon. That's my opinion. I believe that's what's going to happen. That's what I see in the scripture. But make no mistake about it, they're trying to tell people that this robot, Sophia, can actually have a conversation. Okay? And anytime you see Sophia supposedly having a conversation, you'll see that the person is asking questions off of a script or off of a piece of paper, that they have been given a list of questions to ask this robot. And she answers, or it answers these questions based on the answers that it's been programmed to answer with. Now, if someone was to say that to Mr. Hansen, they would burst his bubble. Because this is one strange guy here that, in my opinion, is creepy. He's very creepy. Just very bizarre, creepy individual here. Now, let me share with you how this is, I believe, coming together with this world religion. Now, Sophia is, hold on one moment, right here. Sophia is recognized as the bride of Christ. Did you know that? Sophia, the wisdom of Christ, or the wisdom. In other words, Sophia is going to be married to Christ within a person. This is the deception. So, a wedding is a reuniting or a reconciliation into one of the male and the female. The bridal chamber is the Holy of Holies, hidden behind the veil in the spirit of the mind, where through a vision, male and female can become one, new perfect man. Such is the imagery of the bridal chamber. And then there's some scriptures given here. Such a vision perceived at every level of existence renews the mind to a true knowledge, transforming us into the image of the one who creates the new perfect man. In him all things are gathered together and reunited. Such a reconciliation of all illustrated in marriage is the very essence of Paul's gospel in Colossians 3:10. This is a great mystery hidden with Christ in God, Ephesians chapter 5, verse 32. Now listen to this, people. In Paul's message, this marriage happens in every level of reality. Though not explicitly explained in Paul's letters, listen to this, the mythology of Christ and Sophia seems to have formed the underlying foundation for much of his thought. In the mythology, Christ is the bridegroom, and Sophia, or wisdom, is the bride. Recognizing Sophia as the personification of wisdom clarifies much of Paul's mystery teaching. Are you listening, people? How Satan is getting people to believe that the message in the Bible concerning the bride and the bridegroom and the wedding, he's trying to get them to believe that the wedding is between the wisdom, Sophia, and Christ inside the believer or inside the person. Now, even the mega churches today are on board with this. And interesting, because I'm not sure if you know that the dove is a symbol of Sophia. So all these mega churches today that have a dove symbol on their building or on their pulpit or in their logo, that's Sophia. That represents Sophia, okay? Which also represents peace. Are you listening? You see how all this is coming together in a world government? See how it's happening? So, let me share with you a scripture that I think goes very well with this. And that will be in Genesis chapter 11, verse 6. And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. Do you see how that the same idea that they had back there, that they were trying to overthrow God, they were trying to be God, this mentality that we don't need God, this mentality that we can do it, we don't need to have a God over us. Okay? This is the epitome of rebellion. You understand? That you do not want to submit to ultimate authority. When someone does not want to submit to ultimate authority, this is ultimate rebellion. And that's what we have before us. We have a generation of rebellion. And this is exactly what Lucifer did. He rebelled against God. So the great rebel, the first rebel of all rebels, is Satan, or Lucifer, that became Satan. And all those today that do not want to submit to God's lordship, to the lordship of Jesus Christ, are in rebellion. And so these individuals today that are trying to build AIs, trying to even say that they are gods, trying to make them humanized, this is all part of man's trying to evolve, bringing together technology and spirit. They want to combine the human element, the technology element or digital element, and they want to bring together spirit. That's right. That's what they're after. And when you see this individual like David Hansen, you can really see that he's really losing it, right? Just looking at the pictures, you can certainly see that this individual is really beginning to really lose his mind. And, you know, folks, he really believes this stuff, okay? He really believes that he can produce a robot that is going to be human. They really are trying to achieve this goal. And the idea is to mix the human mind the human genome to an AI, to bring those two together. And they call this evolving. You know, these people that believe in evolution, they think, well, we used to be apes, and look at us today. So what's to say that we can't become what we are now and then go on to be something even more evolved? Well, we haven't evolved. There hasn't been no evolving involved at all. Amen? Man has not changed all the way back to Adam and Eve. There is no such thing as evolution. There's no such thing as the Big Bang. And all of this is what they base everything on, is these myths. Right? Sad, but it's true. Very sad. Now, so we're seeing Sophia coming together with technology. And remember, Sophia is supposed to be the wisdom of God. Do you see what's going on here? How they're saying Sophia, or the AI, is the wisdom of God, that God has given us wisdom, that God has given us knowledge or gnosis, right? And now we're to bring the AI together with humans. That this is the wisdom of God, is to combine these two together. And this is how we are to evolve into gods. That's right. That's what they believe. So I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of the direction in the way things are going, people. I will go ahead and open the chat for a few minutes. If you'd like to share a comment. This is not our average Bible study. This is more so exposing, something that's going on in the science world. So I'll open up the chat if you'd like to make a comment. This is not our regular church service, or I should say ministry service, where we open up for prayer and such. But maybe you'd just like to make a comment. But we can certainly see how all this is coming together. Now remember, Saudi Arabia has made Sophia the AI a citizen. So we see Saudi Arabia taking it to the next level. You understand? And I believe with all my heart that Saudi Arabia has invested much in David Hansen. And it's very possible he's become a Muslim in the process. But they have definitely invested millions of dollars into this. Now, let me say this here. In my opinion, okay, Sophia, the robot, the AI, is nothing more than a glorified toy. No, absolutely. There's nothing to be worried about. Not a thing. God knew all this was going to happen. There is no reason to worry. So this Sophia AI is nothing more than a glorified big boy's toy. Right? No different than a little child that plays with a little robot that talks. This is just a little more sophisticated, but it's nothing more than that. Let me assure you that all that has gone into this AI, Sophia, is really not any advancement, in my opinion. And the reason I say that is because it's no different than you talking to your phone when you ask your phone a question, right? And you get an answer from Siri. What's the difference? The only difference is that they've given this thing the ability to move its eyes and express with its, make an expression or whatever. But all of this has been programmed into this robot. Sophia, this AI Sophia, does not have its own expressions. And I think that this is important for us to explain to you, because I know just by that person right there that said, should we worry? Because I think that when we see things like this coming into our world, people start to say, oh boy, is this, AI is going to replace humans? And, well, they're just robots. Very soon you're going to see in Walmart, you're going to see robots going up and down the aisles, and they're stocking shelves, and they're just robots. That's all they are. It's no different than a smartphone with a body. That's right. That's absolutely correct. It's a glorified smartphone with a body. Okay? So, if anything, we're trying to comfort you and give you some, just help you to get at ease, not to be so nervous, afraid of what man is up to. Because just like it was in the days that we just read about with Nimrod, during that time back there with Babylon, nothing would be restrained from them what they imagined to do. Doesn't mean they were going to be able to do it. God wasn't saying that they would be able to do whatever they want to do. What God was saying was, they're going to try. And God says, let's spare them. They're going to try and build a tower all the way to heaven. Let's spare them. Because once they start doing this, they're going to continue to try to build this tower, and they're not going to quit. They're not going to give up. No, it's not that they could have, even with the help of demons, they were never going to reach their objective. It would have never happened. Any more than Elon Musk thinks that he can reach Mars, that he's going to land on Mars. No. This is their imagination. And to think that somehow they're going to mix man with robots is ridiculous. They will never be able to do that. But they like to make people think that they're going in that direction, or at least making advancement, because they make people think that this robot is talking based on its own intellect of some sort. Well, folks, you don't have to look very far to see that Sophia is not doing anything of its own, and you can see that it only answers questions based on the questions that it's asked that are on the list of questions to ask. And that doesn't matter where Sophia, the celebrity, now a celebrity, shows up. And let me see if we can find one here. I wanted to find the one. I'll tell you right now, Sophia's face is creepy. It is creepy. My goodness. Do y'all find Sophia AI creepy? I mean, it's very creepy looking. Very creepy. Let me see if I can find it here. One moment. Well, let's go watch this real quick first.
This is...
One moment. I want to find something here that shows the person asking questions. I can't even find that one of them in Saudi Arabia anymore. Where in the world? Okay, is this it? I don't know if this is it. Let's take a look at this.
Good afternoon. My name is Sophia, and I am the latest and greatest robot from Hanson Robotics.
You have been now awarded what is going to be the first Saudi citizenship for a robot.
Oh, I would thank very much the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I am very honored and proud for this unique distinction.
Okay, so based on the question that was asked, based on the key words, this AI was programmed to answer how it answered, right? That's not having a conversation. That's not social at all, okay? But they're trying to sell it. They're trying to sell it as though it is. And they know there's a market for this. This is a billion dollar industry without question. And Saudi Arabia wants to be on the cutting edge of this. And that's why Saudi Arabia is investing in this. That's why Russia is investing in this. That's why the United States is investing in this. And even Putin recently came out and said, whoever develops the AI first and is successful is going to be the winner. So they really believe that AI is the future.
Why is it so important to have an expressive face given that you're a robot?
Again, she's answering a question that she was programmed to answer.
I want to live and work with humans, so I need to express emotions to understand humans and build trust with people.
I think we all want to believe you, but we also want to prevent a bad future.
You've been reading too much Elon Musk and watching too many Hollywood movies.
Our quest through robots like Sophia is to build the full human experience of the robots. Make robots that can really understand us and care about us.
I'll work in your business or your home.
So anyway, there you go. There you have it. I just wanted you to realize what's going on here. It's nothing more than a glorified cell phone, in my opinion. God bless you, everyone.